Now I know what you're going to say. Mario, what's all this stubble on your face? What do you got there, huh? Well, I'm glad you asked, by the way. This, ladies and gentlemen, is my pathetic attempt at proving my masculinity with lack thereof facial hair. I tried my best. You know what? Screw you guys. Okay, so this is the third and final video of the basic muscle building series. We've been through the nutrition aspect of eating to gain, get jacked, and then the second one was how and why we train to get jacked. Right, building muscle, but you understand the terms. Anyway, so this is just going to be a straight up template, a routine, not a program. This is just a routine. Take the exercises at face value, perform the routine after 2 weeks, and then add slight changes as you go along. Add a little bit more volume there, add an exercise there, just whatever. Take away an exercise and replace it with something else because it feels a lot better for you. Because remember, this is for you. This is just a starter. This is kind of like a starter pack when you get like a pack of like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Remember Yu-Gi-Oh cards? You got that starter pack with like bullshit cards. They're like the worst. There was always one good card, but like it was mostly crappy cards. And that's a starter, okay? Then you start adding and replacing cards to get a really good deck. Why am I talking about Yu-Gi-Oh? I was a big fan. All right, here we go. So I'm going to start with Monday, then Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday is a rest day, but I'll get onto that once we get there. So let's start with Monday. Monday, we're going to start with bench press, 5 by 5. 5 sets of 5 reps with not too heavy of a weight. Let's say for your 1 rep max, it's going to be about 70%. But if you don't have your 1 rep max, just use a weight that's good enough to where it's heavy, but not too heavy where your form is lacking and you won't be able to get the subsequent sets. You don't cruise through the sets, but it elicits some sort of challenge. Okay, so 5 by 5 bench press. After that, 3 sets of 8 on overhead press. If you want to use your percentage off a 1 rep max, 65%, the weight that you use. If not, use a weight that's challenging for 3 sets of 8. Not too challenging, because remember, we want to use strict form. We want to feel the contraction of the muscle. We want to feel it working. So 3 sets of 8 on overhead press. These are both with barbells. After that, dips. Now, a lot of people can't perform dips. So if you cannot perform dips, you can do either bench dips or you can do push-ups. Get to the point where you can do 3 sets of 15 of unbroken, full range of motion, strict push-ups, and then you can move over to bodyweight dips with like dip bars. I would prefer you to start with 3 sets of 10. If you cannot perform 10 reps, perform them to failure and get a little bit more reps per set every single time. Make sure you get adequate rest in between sets because remember, we're looking to add reps per set because this is bodyweight. Dips are bodyweight. You're going to be able to acclimate to that a lot faster. So after dips, 3 sets to 10 or 3 sets to failure, perform 4 sets of 10 of lying dumbbell chest press. So it's just like a bench press, but you use dumbbells with a relatively challenging weight for 4 sets of 10 reps. And that's Monday. So Tuesday, we do 5 sets of 5 on squat, just like we did on the bench press. Use a relatively heavy weight, relatively challenging. Then after that, 3 sets of 8 on a deadlift variation. So that means you can do a regular deadlift, you can do a Romanian deadlift, you can do a stiff-legged deadlift. We're trying to hit our back, but we're also trying to involve the hamstrings. So 3 sets of 8 on a deadlift variation, or just deadlift, really. After that, it's going to be 3 sets of 10 per leg on lunges. Now, if you cannot perform a lunge yet, then I suggest you start with bodyweight lunges so you get your form down. Now, it's going to be 3 sets of 10 per leg. So you start with your right leg, you do 3 sets of 10 on lunges, and then you go to your left leg, 3 sets of 10 on lunges on that one. Now, once you get past the body weight stage and you got your form right and everything, you got the mechanics, then you can add weight. So I would perform them with dumbbells. Start with dumbbells. Get a dumbbell in each hand, preferably the same weighted dumbbell. That should go without saying. Unless you're a badass, you're like, I'm going to use a 40 on one hand and a 30 on the other. Let's see what happens. So 3 sets of 10 per leg on dumbbell lunges. After that, 3 sets of 10 on chin-ups. Now, just like the dips, if you cannot perform chin-ups, do lat pull-downs. And then you're gonna, after over time, you're gonna gain the musculature and the strength to be able to do chin-ups. Now, if you, just like the dips, if you can't perform 10 chin-ups and you can only do 5 or 6, keep doing them until to the point where you will be able to do 3 sets of 10. Because remember, we're gaining size. A bigger muscle is a stronger muscle, and we're going to be gaining strength at the same relative strength. Not a lot of strength. We're trying to gain muscle, but we're also going to be gaining strength. So 3 sets of 10 at the end on chin-ups, or 3 sets to failure. Wednesday, I want you to rest. I still want you to do something. So stay active, get the blood pumping, get the oxygenation process going so that you can recover faster. But generally, I would like you go play basketball, go play a sport, go take your dog for a run or a walk, jerk off or something. Like, no, I'm joking. Jesus Christ, could you imagine? What kind of session is that? It's like, yeah, I'm getting my cardio in. It's like, what are you doing? I'm going to my room. It's like, you got a treadmill in there? No. What? Could you imagine? All right, anyway, I'm just being a douche. So, 3, stay active. Don't just sit around and do, I mean, you can, but your recovery is going to go a lot faster if you stay active relatively. Don't push yourself too hard throughout your rest day. Okay, so Thursday, we start with 5 sets of 5 on overhead press. So just like with the squat and the bench press, use a pretty heavy weight where it's not too challenging, but we just want to use strict form and feel the muscle working. After that, 3 sets of 8 on incline barbell bench press. So this, we're going to work the upper shelf of our chest. We're still going to be involving our chest, but just the upper pectoralis and our anterior deltoids, just like we do with any type of overhead pressing movement. We use our deltoids right here. We're trying to get big shoulders too. So 3 sets of 8 on incline bench press. Again, strict form, use a good weight. After that, it's going to be, again, dips. Dips are a very important movement. And because it's body weight, we're going to mainly be using them with body weight. We're going to do them twice a week. And especially, this is going to be great if you can't do dips, because it's going to give you more practice per week to be able to eventually do 3 sets of 10 on dips. So after incline bench press, 3 sets of 10 on dips, or 3 sets to failure on dips. After that, the last one is seated dumbbell shoulder press. So 4 sets of 10. So it's just going to be just like an overhead press, but you're going to be sitting down on a bench, preferably, and you're going to be doing a shoulder press with dumbbells. 4 sets of 10, and that's it. So that's your Thursday. And finally, Friday. Friday is going to be you're going to start with 3 sets of 5 on deadlift. This is a straight up conventional deadlift. Again, use a relatively heavy weight. You want to feel the muscle working. This is going to be the heaviest of all the other weights as far as squat, bench press, overhead press. But this is going to be the big bang for your buck movement, because this is the most weight you can do relative to those other weights. So 3 sets of 5 on deadlift. After that, we're going to do 3 sets of 8 on a squat variation. Now, you can do just the squat, but if you want to do it, let's say a front squat, which would be great for your quads and your glutes, that's great. Or you can do a pause squat, where it's just like a regular squat, but you pause at the bottom for about 1 to 2 seconds. I would prefer 2 seconds. Or you can just do a regular squat. That's fine. We're just trying to work our legs for 3 sets of 8 reps. Now, after that, we're going to do 3 sets of 8 on Romanian deadlift. Now, here you don't have an option, because we want to specifically work our hamstrings. Romanian deadlifts obviously are a full body movement. You work your back too there, but we're mainly using them for our hamstrings. Your back is still going to get jacked from them, but we're trying to mainly use them for our hamstrings, and it's going to really help with your hinging mechanics to help with your deadlift, and generally for life, because hinging is very important when you're bending over. After that, we're going to do 4 sets of 12 on goblet squats. Now, goblet squats are just like a regular squat or a front squat, where you have you're holding the dumbbell right in front of you, right up against your chest, and you're doing squats like that for 4 sets of 12. Now remember, don't think like, oh, I'm using just a single dumbbell, this is going to be easy. I'm going to pick the biggest dumbbell on the rack, get a 100-pound dumbbell. No, bro. This is 4 sets of 12. 4 sets of 12. Take it easy, okay? So, and I will add optional exercises to add at the end of any day. So I'm going to put this entire routine in the description box below. So let's go over it again. Monday, 5x5 bench press. After that, 3 sets of 8 on overhead press. After that, 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets to failure on dips. And then at the end, 4 sets of 10 on lying dumbbell chest press. After Tuesday, 5 sets of 5 on squat, 3 sets of 8 on a deadlift variation or deadlift. After that, 3 sets of 10 per leg on lunges and eventually weighted dumbbell lunges. And at the end, 3 sets of 10 on chin-ups or lat pull-downs if you can't perform chin-ups, or 3 sets to failure on chin-ups. Wednesday, rest but stay active. Thursday, 5 sets of 5 overhead press, 3 sets of 8 incline bench press, 3 sets of 10 or to failure on dips, and then 4 sets of 10 on seated dumbbell shoulder press. Friday, 3 sets of 5 deadlift, 3 sets of 8 squat variation, 3 sets of 8 on Romanian deadlift, and then at the end, 4 sets of 12 on goblet squat. And that's pretty much it. Now, after 2 weeks of performing this routine specifically, I want you to start changing things. This is not a program, so you can't change them. You can't change them. I would like you to change them because I want you to make a routine specifically for your needs. If you want to specifically make your legs, quads bigger, add more volume on squats or add an exercise on squats. If you want to get a big back, add volume on deadlifts or chin-ups or whatever. Now, you notice I didn't add specific bicep work. You're going to get the vast majority of your upper body gains are going to come from the big buck movements, which are overhead press, deadlift, and bench press. Those are going to be where even your biceps, where most of your upper body gains will be. And then later on, after 2 to 3 weeks, I want you to start adding bicep work at the end. So this is all just taking this routine and then progressively adding or replacing things to fit your needs, because this is for you. This isn't for my imagination of who I'm training, because technically anybody can take this routine and do whatever they want to it, okay, because they want to fit it to their needs. Okay, so that's the routine. It'll be in the description box below with rest between sets. Okay, so that's pretty much it. This is the end of the muscle building series, the basic beginner muscle building series. I will do a starting strength or strength training series next, and I'll see you next time.